Welcome back to Quilt Along with John. Today we have got a fabulous lady called Tracy Perks. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, John.
Well, technically it's good evening, I suppose, but hello!
Hi!
So tell us a little bit about you.
Right, so my name's Tracy Perks. I'm 50, fabulous 50, and I live on a narrowboat. I've been quilting and sewing for about 7 years now. So I live on a narrowboat. We've been on a boat for about 11 years now and absolutely love it. I'm married to Brian and we've got 2 dogs, Bella and Sydney.
But now, living on a narrowboat, how on earth do you sew? Because I know my collection's colossal, but how on earth do you fit that all on a little narrowboat?
Well, it's a challenge, especially since I met you and I've bought absolutely loads more material that I've got nowhere to put.
I can neither confirm nor deny this process. I cannot say a word.
No, perhaps best not to. Yeah, I started sewing with a little brother machine. My husband was like, go get a hobby. And why don't you buy yourself a sewing machine? I was like, I can't sew. So anyway, I remember it was like a couple of days after Christmas, went up to Hobbycraft, bought an 80 quid brother sewing machine and some fat quilters, and came back, didn't have any rotary cutter or mat or any other equipment at all, and thought, oh yeah, I can make a quilt. Well, I couldn't. It was dreadful. So anyway, I became obsessed with it. Found a nice little sewing shop local, and I grew from there. And then I bought another sewing machine a few months later, another brother with an embroidery unit on. And then a couple of years later, I bought my brother V5, which I absolutely love and adore.
Oh, that V5 is special.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I bought it because at that time I was doing lots of embroidery stuff on my other sewing machine, and I wanted a bigger unit to work on. But also one of the other reasons was the width of the neck on the sewing machine for quilting, domestic quilting.
You do most of your quilting on the brother, don't you?
I do all of my quilting on the brother, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's better when I bought the extension table a couple of years ago, and that's made a huge difference to the weight of it, and so it's not dragging and that kind of thing. So
on a narrowboat, are you sort of based in one area? Do you go all around the country? Because I can imagine quilt shop hopping must be amazing when things are open.
Yeah, we travel. We have to move every 2 weeks. It's one of the old bylaws of the waterways, and we travel over a 40-mile distance. Yeah, we're around the Milton Keynes, Leighton Buzzard area, down to Tring, that area. We go up as far as just the bottom of Northamptonshire.
Beautiful part of the world to do it.
Yeah, it's lovely. And Milton Keynes is just amazing actually for the waterways, because you don't actually get to see the old little villages, and it just meanders all the way through. So yeah, we move every 2 weeks. At the moment we have to stay where we are because of everything that's happening with COVID and that. So but yeah, it's good, it's nice, and yeah, there are a few quilt shops along the way.
Well, do you have a favorite? Because of course I don't live on a narrowboat, so for me it's quite foreign, the idea of doing that. What's the highlight for you? What do you like about it?
For me, I love the winters, which my husband wouldn't agree with, but yeah, I definitely love the winters with the fire on, candles on, quilt thrown over you, all cozied up. Yeah, that's one of my favourites.
Because your boats get really nice and toasty, don't they?
Oh yeah, it's super warm in here. It's really warm. There's snow on the ground now, and yeah,
just for the record, we're recording this on the 7th of April. There's snow on the ground.
There's snow on the ground, indeed. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! But it must be so freeing being able to just go where you like. It must be wonderful.
It is nice, and we're more in some fabulous places. You can be in the middle of nowhere if you want, or you can be around lots of people if you want to as well.
And how long have you been moored up now with the COVID?
This particular spot, I think it was mid-January that we got here.
Okay.
So we've got a nice little mooring and a nice bit of grass area outside where I can go and sit if I want to, even though it's a bit cold today.
Fantastic. Yes, it'll be a bit nippy today, So how on earth did you learn all of this now? Because you've got your machine. What was your next step?
Basically, I taught myself, and until I got a little bit more confidence, I got a jelly roll and just started sewing strips together. Bought the little packs as well, and then YouTube, and then got a little bit more confident. Quilting was dreadful. Patchwork I loved. Quilting was dreadful. I went on a couple of one-day courses, sort of locally, and then I just sort of grew from there. It takes a little while to sort of get your confidence up and think, I sort of know what I'm doing, but I still don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, and I find Instagram's a wonderful place, and Pinterest, and you can learn so much from other people.
Now, Pinterest, explain this to me, and this is more of a personal thing. If I go onto Pinterest and I'm looking for a quilt design, why do I always end up with mushroom risotto recipes and garden walls? And 3 hours later, I've not found a single thing I'm looking for, but my God, I've got a beautiful garden wall and a mushroom risotto recipe somewhere.
Absolutely. And you've gone down a little rabbit hole on something that you didn't even know that you wanted to do.
But now can't live without.
Yeah. Yep. It's great.
I've learned with Pinterest, I have to put my timer on, and 15 minutes later, if I've not found what I've looked for, I've got to go off it and look on Google.
That's a good idea.
But there is so much inspiration out there. I've never been very good on Instagram. So how would you find that Instagram's helped you?
Just by following different people, just hashtags, following different hashtags. It's been absolutely great, and just learned so much, really.
So do you have a favorite style of quilting that you enjoy doing?
I suppose I do, really. I love squares and half square triangles. I mainly design my own quilts. I haven't bought that many patterns, to be honest. I've got a few books and stuff, but I've got my own notebook that I bought, and I've got all my scribbles in. So
because you've just become a designer in this, haven't you?
I have. So this is one of my script, because you can see there's lots of scribbling on there, and I start off with graph paper, and I've got
oh, divine.
So yeah, and I put the fabric down the other side if I know what I'm going to use, so I can reference it and go back. Yeah, so this is my second book now, and this is another one that I did. So I like it.
Because you also sell your quilts as well.
I do, yes, I do. In fact, I put one on my Facebook page yesterday, and it sold within minutes. And I wasn't even going to sell it; I was going to keep it for our motorhome that we've got. But that's my next design that I've been working on, and I've just finished the prototype. So, yeah.
That's amazing, because if I'm not mistaken, this week we have a bit of a show for you.
Yes, absolutely.
You're off on Natasha Makes with your gorgeous bee.
I know, I'm so excited. I can't believe it. Really, really excited.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. So you'll see everybody on your screen at the moment will be a link to where you need to go. And the date of it will be, it's 10 a.m. on 21st of April. Make sure you tune in, and we can get that, so you can get that amazing pattern from Tracy. I think Natasha's doing kits as well, so make sure you tune in and see that, and just be able to support a wonderful, wonderful designer in such a unique area. Tell us a bit more about the quilting that you've done, because I can see there's a little pile of quilts there, and every time I see a pile of quilts, I clap my hands and go like this, trying to see around the corner of the camera.
Yeah, well, I pulled out a selection because I just thought, so I've got This is one here that I've just shown you on in the book. One of my designs. This is one of the quilts that I designed. I think I just showed you in my little notebook, and it's sort of an Aztec design. I just love them. I just love working with half square triangles and squares. They're very simple, and it's great for beginners as well. So that's one of them. And I love working with browns and oranges, I've decided. I don't know why, but another quilt, this is a little baby quilt I did. I was practicing. I went on a course with Angela Atwood, and it was westerly rulers.
Right.
And it's taken a little bit. I need to practice a little bit more, but I'm quite pleased with how this one's come out. So done a bit of free motion quilting on that, and the diamonds, or whatever you want to call them, are with the rulers. And I think on the back I've done some scallops. So this is all on my domestic machine. So I'm quite pleased, really.
I'm looking at this with my mouth hanging open and going, oh yeah, I'm quite pleased. I'm like, are you mad? That's amazing.
Thank you. And I just love free motion. So this is just so easy to do once you know how, and just let yourself go for it.
And all of that was done on your domestic machine?
Yeah.
Show off.
Yeah. So another quilt that I've got to show you is I don't know if you remember, I walked into your shop one day, and I'd only been in a couple of times, and you were saying, right, why don't you do the Nicholas Ball improv quilt?
But he's amazing. His quilting
Absolutely.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You got the book as well, didn't you?
Yep, I've got the book. Yeah. And I went home, had a look on Instagram. I was like, oh, I think I might have a bit of, I went home, had a look on Instagram, and thought, I'm going to have a bit of that. So this is a little snapshot.
And you used the Juicy Juice on that, didn't you?
I did, yes, which you kindly provided me with. Thank you. So yes, I did, and it's come out brilliant. It's only a little quilt. Yes, very pleased with that. And it was learning a new skill as well. And that was on a sew along over a few weeks, I think.
Because I think sew-alongs are so amazing, and Nicholas does the most amazing sew-alongs. I think it's a really amazing thing what he does, and how he's been able to get so many people involved, and what a wonderful, wonderful technique it is. So I'm so pleased that you were able to take part in that.
One more quilt to show you, and I went on an indigo dye workshop with a lady called Jane Charles, who I had just such a fantastic day. I didn't know Jane, I didn't know any of the ladies there. It was just something that I decided, sort of last minute. It was in Milton Keynes, and the boat was moored not far from there. So yeah, I booked my ticket and went off for the day, not knowing what I was doing, didn't have a clue. And it was a fantastic day. I made some brilliant pieces. I got home and decided, after it had all dried out, that I was going to cut it all up and make a quilt. And I think I made this quilt within, I don't know, a week and a half of going on. I was so inspired. I was like, I've got to do something with this fabric. And as you can see there, I've used the rulers again. So I made the circles with a ruler, and there's free motion there with the pebbles, and straight line quilting.
It's just amazing. I first came across indigo dyeing with a lady called Pam Stellabras from South Africa. And of course, in South Africa, we've got like 492 days a year of gorgeous sunshine, unlike this country where it's not quite as much. So how on earth did you do how did you get to do the indigo dyeing?
So it was a lovely little venue in Wolverton, and it's an old school, and there was a really nice outdoor area with a bench. It was a sunny day. I think it was in September, sunny day in September, and we all sat outside, and there was about 8 of us on this course, this workshop, and just doing some hand stitching. I learned so much from these ladies. It was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Bit messy, but yeah. So I loved it, and then I signed up for a textile course with Jane at one of the local colleges, one night a week, and that was just before COVID hit. So we managed to get a few sessions in, and again, that was just fantastic, learning different things, how to dye fabrics, and a bit of free motion quilting and embroidery. So yeah.
Because I think the dyeing of fabric is something that most people don't do, and I've always wanted to learn about it, but have never done it. I think it's extraordinary. It's like that dark art of being able to make exactly what you want, the color you want, and how you want it.
It is. So I bought a kit. You know, we've been locked up for so long. I bought a kit, and I put together another quilt. This is some more fabric that I dyed in the garage. My husband's got a garage that he. So I just need to decide how I'm going to quilt this now. But, it's just amazing when you open it all up.
That really is incredible.
Yeah. So when you open it all up and go, oh, you know, what's going to come out? You don't know exactly how it's going to be. So yeah. So that's another obsession of mine, and I've got about 10 meters of white fabric waiting for the next time I decide to do some indigo dyeing.
Well, the next time we get some decent sunshine.
yeah, absolutely.
So how on earth did you go from making quilts to then selling them?
I just, with living on a boat, I was just getting a huge stack of quilts and not a lot of space. So I just thought, I'm just going to put them on my Instagram and see if anybody's interested. And yeah, I don't sell a huge amount, but I've probably sold about 10, 15 so far.
But that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's just enough to cover my hobby. So yeah, it covers the price of the fabric, and then a little bit for me. Oh. So, and then I can buy more fabric. So yeah,
exactly. And you're still enjoying it, which is fabulous.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, I do love it.
Have you found that quilting's been a solace for you during lockdown?
Absolutely. With the whole lockdown and the COVID thing, I've been shielding for the year and some. So initially it was, you know, quite difficult. I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do? We're in a boat, we've got a garden, I've got a health condition, and just need to be really, really careful. So it was the bumblebee quilt that sort of made me, okay, I'm just going to sew. We don't know how long this is going to last. I'm just going to sew. So originally, when I designed the bumblebee, it was for a cushion, and it was in 1.5 inch unfinished squares. A friend of mine had asked me if, yeah, I know. A friend of mine asked me if I would make her a cushion for her grandchild, and for a bumblebee. And I went, yeah, no problem. This was quite a few years ago now. And I designed that and made it, and was like, never again. It took me ages to design it. And 1.5 inch squares and half square triangles.
You're mad. No. You are mad.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I bet you now you pieced every triangle. You didn't even use the magic 8 method.
Yeah, I pieced every triangle because I didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, I did. And I left the pattern there, didn't do anything with it. And then at the start of lockdown, I thought, oh, I've got the bumblebee quilt. I've got loads of green fabric. I was a little concerned about being locked down and not being able to get to a fabric shop. And we were moored down the Wendover Arm at the time, so I could have walked to your shop. So I made the bumblebee quilt and put it up on Instagram, and a friend of mine said, is that for sale? I was like, yeah, it is. So I sold that one. then I made another one, and another friend got in touch and said, is that for sale? Yeah, it is. So over the last year, I've made 5, including the last one that's going to be on Natasha Makes. So, yeah.
Oh, they're gorgeous quilt. But now you're thinking of doing a sew-along. I'm really looking forward to this. And I'm going to try my best to make sure I do it, because I've got my colour palette all ready to go. So I'm hoping it's going to work.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm really excited, nervous. I've done the filming. So the quilt that I've already made, I did little bits of filming. So that's all going to be run on Instagram. And I suppose I need to do something on Facebook, but I'm not too great on Facebook, so I'll figure that one out.
I can give you a hand if you need.
Thank you. That would be great.
Oh, yeah. That's exciting. So tell me, how's it going to work?
So it's going to be over a 4-week period. Week 1 is going to be your fabric pull. So, and that just takes me ages to decide what fabrics I'm going to use, and I'll leave them on the side for a bit and just see if I can live with them for a couple of days and just keep going back and having a look. So that's going to be week 1. Week 2 is going to be all about cutting your fabric out. And this is all aimed at beginners as well. My pattern it's a beginner's pattern, and it's all done in rows. So yeah, week 2 is going to be cutting your squares up. There are a lot of squares and half square triangles. Week 3 is going to be about chain piecing together your squares and starting to put the rows together. And then week 4 is going to be assembling those rows. So yeah, no pressure. And if, you know, people fall behind, it's fine. People get ahead, it's fine. So yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a nice little sew along.
Oh, I think it will. It really is this beautiful, beautiful quilt. How much fabric do you need of each colorway, or have you got a guide for that? These are the 2 colors that I'm looking to use. This will be my background. This will be the bee.
Oh, wow.
But that's why I wanted to check how much I need.
Yeah. Right, okay. The green, you'll need 2 1/4 meters. The black, 1/2 meter. The yellow, 1/4 meter, and white, 1/2 meter.
Now with the greens, is that 2 1/4? You obviously need to use different greens, or you can use the same green.
It's up to you. I mean, I use different greens because I just like that effect. I like that scrappy effect. So I use a combination of different greens, but it takes me ages. You can't just use any old green. So just to pull all those fabrics together. So I like to use a combination of, you know, fat quarters. It's always nice to use those. So
love fat quarters. Yeah. Don't like cutting them, but I love them.
No, I know. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm so excited about the sew along. I'm definitely going to be joining in for that, because I think it'll be one of those, and it's such a beautiful pattern. I think that little bee design is so, so sweet. You're an amazing designer. I can't wait, because I've seen a sneak peek of the next one. Oh my God, that one is amazing.
So I've got the book now for designing patterns, and so yeah, I'll see where I get to with it all.
But I just love the fact as well that you've got the sew along aspect to it as well, which I think is really, really important, because a lot of people do get lost along the way. And I think having those little videos to help people along, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm a bit nervous, but you know, it'll work out hopefully.
I love that you're nervous, because it means something to you. And if you're not nervous, it means that you're just like, oh, well, whatever. And I think it's really important that you are nervous, because it shows that you care.
Yeah, yeah.
And you just want it to be lovely, and you just want people to have amazing fabrics and amazing quilts, and your beautiful design be out there. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way of doing that?
On my Instagram account, I think would be the best way to do that. So I've got two accounts, Rope and Anchor Trading Co. and the Good for the Soul, which is going to be my event that I'm hoping to run this year. So yeah.
So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about running an event for the last few years and done nothing about it. And at the end of 2019, I decided, right, now's the time. So it's all about, I love camping. We don't camp in a tent anymore. We're lucky enough to have a motorhome now, and I take my sewing machine with me. And I don't care if people stare at me when I'm sewing, when I'm in the awning. And I follow a group of people that are on Facebook called RV Quilters, and they're American, and they've got these massive RV rigs, and they quilt on campgrounds and have little get-togethers, and yeah, it looks fantastic. And I thought, you know what, I want to go to somewhere that I can pitch up with my tent or my motorhome and have a whole weekend of crafting with people, like-minded people. And that's not just about sewing, which initially was what I thought a little bit of a sewing bee, you know, a quilt along or something like that. But it's sort of evolved now. And I found a fantastic campsite in Warwickshire called Etty's Field, and it's just beautiful. It's not massive. There's about 30 odd pitches. There's a lovely clubhouse. It's done all sort of boho style. And some nice big pictures. And anyway, I rang her up, didn't know her, and said, I've got this really crazy idea. I want to put on a craft event where people can just come along and hang out and have workshops, and there'll be some demos. And I've seen your campsite on Instagram. What do you think? And she was amazing. She was like, yeah, that sounds fantastic. I rang a couple of other places beforehand, and they were like, no, or it's going to cost thousands and thousands of pounds to rent or site or accommodation. Anyway, we went up there and had a look around, and it was like, this is brilliant. Right, I'm going to go for it. So I think that was sort of, I don't know, October 2019. And we were going to hold it in September 2020. Then the dreaded COVID happened, and I was like, oh, we can't do it. There's no way that we can do it, you know. And she was kind enough to say, right, let's just push it over to the following year, or if we need to, we push it over to the following year. So at the minute, I'm planning for this September. I'm still not sure whether we're going to go ahead or not. I think we just need to wait and see what happens in the summer.
I think at the moment, nobody knows what's going on. You've just got to take advice, plan and get contingencies and just make it work. But tell us a bit about how it's actually going to work. So you've got people, you come and stay in your caravan, or can you rent tents, or have they got lodges? How does it work?
There's a couple of airstreams on the site, which makes up Etty's Field. So there's a couple of airstreams to rent, but and there were some nice little glamping units, but because of COVID and having to clean them and everything, they're not there at the moment. So you can bring your caravan, your motorhome, your van, your tent. You come along Friday afternoon, pitch up Friday afternoon. There's going to be a workshop Friday afternoon, and I'm hoping a demonstration in the evening. We'll have a little bar there as well. And then Saturday, there's going to be various workshops throughout the day. I'm hoping to have another demo Saturday evening after everyone's had their dinner, and then Sunday morning's all going to be about just packing up, saying bye to friends. But what I envisage is people sitting around knitting, crocheting, doing a bit of slow stitching, just chilling out in a really beautiful environment. I've got some workshops that are booked already. So Jane Charles is going to come and do an indigo dye workshop, and she's going to have a drop-in session as well for eco printing. So you'll make, if you're not a sewer or you know that's not your thing, you can make a cushion cover or a tote bag indigo dyed. And we were thinking silk scarf for the eco printing. So you've got your own selection of leaves on a nice, pretty little silk scarf you've made.
Can you come through as a day guest as well?
I'm thinking about that. Yes, I need to look at the numbers. But yes, I'm hoping just to have a few tickets for a day guest on Saturday.
And what are these going to be, sort of 1 hour classes people can drop in and out of?
Yeah, a bit longer than that, 2 to 3 hours. So I need to structure it so people can get as much in the weekend as they want. And you know what, if you don't want to do a class, then you don't have to. There'll be free demos in the evenings. So I just want to make it accessible to as many people as I possibly can.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I love that. Well, we'll all stay tuned. And the best way of doing that is Good for the Soul on your Instagram, following for that.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to that. Have you got a webpage for this?
Yes, I have. It's www.goodforthesoul.org.
And that's on your screens right now. So please keep checking that website for updates and keep following Tracy on her Instagram for updates on that as well. Tracy, what an exciting couple of months you've got going ahead. Now, Tracy, you live on a narrowboat. How on earth does that work space-wise? Can you tell us a little bit about how you work it?
Welcome to my sewing space, all 6 foot by 4 foot of it. As you can see, I've tried to maximise as much of the space as possible and make it look pretty as well. So on my shelves I've got books and jars full of stuff, ribbons and buttons. I've got my Brother V5 sewing machine, which I absolutely love. One of the best things that I've bought. I've got some more shelves here. And then this bench pulls out all the way back here, and it means that I can baste my quilts. So sewing in a small space is possible. For those of you that think that you've not got enough room, you just need to think about it a little bit, plan it out. It can work.
So what's next for you? I know that, shall we tell everybody about your secret project for the next pattern? Should we?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, good. So as you can see on the screen now, this is the next pattern that is busy being drafted by Tracy as we speak. Again, going to be on the Fabulous Natasha Makes. Make sure you check out Tracy's Etsy shop as well. This will be available in, are we thinking May, June?
Yeah,
Somewhere
I think May.
May, towards the end of May.
Yeah, so this is the Stagtastic quilt. My wonderful niece does all the graphic designs for me and has actually pulled all the pattern together. I give her the brief and the idea, and she's pulled everything together. So it's another beginner's quilt. There's lots and lots of squares, so if you don't like cutting up, I'm really sorry, but the effect of it at the end is just great. So the thing I love about my quilts are that they are great for beginners. It gives you lots of practice in cutting up squares, and you're building your half square triangles, and then you're chain stitching everything together, and then everything is done in a row by row. So very easy to follow.
Oh, Tracy, I'm so excited for this. And we've got something already planned for the third one as well, aren't you? Little prototype in place.
Yes, I'm still working on that one. Yes, so that
won't mention that one just yet. We'll get that one sorted for the next time. Oh, yeah, but Tracy, honestly, it's been so lovely to be able to share a little part of your journey on this. I'm so excited for you, and what's coming forward is going to be amazing. Congratulations. Well done, and keep doing what you're doing. It's fabulous.
Thank you, and I appreciate all your support as well. So, and the encouragement and the mentoring. So, thank you.
Many would call it nagging. I don't mind what you call it.
We'll call it mentoring.
I'm going to quote you. Tracy, thank you so much. Can't wait to see all of your lovely, amazing things coming forward, and really looking forward to your fair, hopefully, this September.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'll keep you posted.
Good. Darling, thank you so much for your time today. Stay safe, and I don't even need to tell you not to lick anybody because you're not going to anyway.
No, I'm not, unfortunately.
I don't think it's unfortunate at all.
Yeah.
Stay safe, sweetheart. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you really soon.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, love.